Hey, Shalom. Kal halalim la Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kodash. Kal halalim la Yahweh, Bahashem Yahshai, Bahashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, elder bishops of Great Millstone that rule well. And Shalom to the prophets of that body, and Shalom to the 144,001 May peace and blessings in the spirit of endurance be upon you and your households as we approach the end. A lot of people sometimes believe the news media is like words directly coming out of the Most High's mouth. Okay, they believe everything the powers that be and their underlings and their actors and their failed actors that are now reporters, or the reporters, the people that always wanted to be the April O'Neills, right? Finally get their reporting job and they're told to say certain things because, okay, it's all an agenda. They give you the truth, but then they're going to cover it up with partial dirt and say, "Oh, it's a lie. There's no truth in it." So, but why is it in the media in the first place? Why are people finding, human body parts like You must have seen those videos floating around on the internet where there was a woman's nipple, right? It looked like a woman's nipple, right? Her areola, and it was like the front part of the breast cut off, and it was like within a bunch of sort of processed chicken or raw chicken or something. Okay. There's a lot of meat out there they put labels on. Okay, it could be chicken, lamb, beef, or whatever. And if you don't recognize it, I suggest you don't purchase it. Okay, chicken with meat glue. All right, but in this case here, verify, is rat meat being sold in the US disguised as boneless chicken? Okay, now that's true. Okay, because Esau Edom is not going to tell you the truth completely. All right, you have to have spiritual discernment and understand the fact that these devils do that. A lot of people that believe in, when you're a child, you actually believe that America are the good guys, and like let's just say, like during the Gulf War in the 90s, was it the 80s or 90s? Right, when I was a young teenager, you assume that, oh yeah, America are the good guys, and those so-called Arabs and Middle Easterners are the bad guys. They play they do their magic. Okay, they do their tricks, right, to try and deceive you. But really, it was actually America that was the evil guy, because these damn devils called good evil and evil good. All right, so I'm just going to play the video. Lord willing, it works. This week's being slightly crazy and erratic with a screen recorder, but let's see. Lord willing, it works. 1 minute, 54 seconds.
After dinner to bring you this Verify. It's about an article that's been shared thousands of times already on Facebook. And it has one of our neighbors pretty grossed out.
Hi, my name is Leslie, and I'm from Capitol Heights, Maryland. I've seen this headline on Facebook that says there's more than 1 million pounds of rat meat being sold in the USA for boneless chicken. WUSA 9, tell me, is there any truth to that? Please verify.
All right, our researchers went straight to the article. Here's that headline: more than 1 million pounds of rat meat is sold as boneless chicken wings in the USA. Our researchers traced this article back to the original report, and that was posted on a website called World News Daily Report, which is known for posting satire. If you look at the top of the webpage, their hot story for today is South Africa. Man gives birth 9 months after presumed alien abduction. But
Just bear with me. Just going, yeah. There's a little pause. All right, but if you go to the comments over here, they're not gonna tell the freaking truth. See, a lot of people are seeing the bullshit of Esau Edom, the powers that be. I like the way they talk about absurd things like alien abduction right after talking about the meat to discredit the story. Okay, well, those green lizard, that's absurd. Okay, but what this is what they do. Revelation of the method. They're going to tell you something, then they're going to put a comedic spin on it. All right.
At the top of
Then,
the
so it
webpage,
goes
their
over your
hot
head.
story for today is South Africa. Man gives birth 9 months after presumed alien abduction. But just to make sure there wasn't a nugget of truth in there, we took a closer look at their alleged facts. The article claims the FDA seized the meat from illegal shipping containers at a port in San Francisco. But the FDA says nope. Spokesman Peter Cassell said the agency is not aware of the seizure of rat meat referenced, and the FDA never issued such a warning. So rest easy, Leslie with an E. We can confirm that this article about rat meat being sold as chicken is false, thankfully. Our verified team is always ready to go for you. If you've spotted something you think might be fake news, let us know about it. We'll check it out. Reach out on Twitter or Facebook.
I mean, that's what they're going to say, right? That it's not the truth. Rest easy. You think they're actually going to say, yeah, we're selling rat meat disguised as chicken. And why are they doing it? You saw there was not one Edomite. Okay, the presenter, the report was a so-called black woman. The woman, Leslie, talking about the rat meat was a so-called black woman. So therefore, this rat meat that's disguised as chicken or orange chicken in these Chinese stores or dog or whatever they got is mainly done in Israelite neighborhoods. Why? So they can further separate you from, separate the Israelites from
Send an email to verify at WUSA9.com.
Because what? Because we're supposed to eat clean meat, and rat meat is not meat. Okay, that's an unclean rodent. Okay, you're not supposed to eat, you're not supposed to eat that in any shape or form, along with swine, shrimp, crab, lobster, etc., etc., etc. Okay, look at that. Dinah says there's a rat in KFC's chicken. Look, there you go. Look, Eyewitness exposes issues at New China restaurant, and that's in Atlanta. Okay. All this truth is coming out. People are catching people in real time. Then people are still saying, it's not real. All right. Now let's read some of the people's comments here, if they open up. Come on, comments. Come on. Where the damn comments gone now? Anyway. All right. I'm not going to play around with it too much. We read some of the comments. People are not believing, what people are, who's going to believe the news media these days? They lie a lot as it is. These are the same people that said that it was Osama bin Laden that hit the Twin Towers. It was Arabs that did it. But lo and behold, many years later, you find out it was the damn government that did the Twin Towers in. Right? It was the government that did it. Just bear with me. I'm just going to get some scriptures up. I'm trying to make this video short and snappy. Let's go to Isaiah 5:20 first. Oops. What happened here? I said Isaiah 5:20. This is going to something else. App corner. Salakia. Just bear with me. All right, we're in AI mode. Isaiah 5:20. Woe unto them. Woe means bad times, destruction. All right. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. All right. All right. This is what they do. Okay. They're not going to tell you the truth. Okay. But time and time again, for a fact in the past, you've eaten some what looked like to be chicken and it didn't taste right. I remember having a Subway. This is many, many, many years ago, over a decade ago, in Atlanta. And that chicken did not taste right. And I didn't buy a Subway again after that. That's been 10 years. All right. We assume through the spirit, from the heart that we're going to eat chicken. All right. But even if you get chicken, you don't know whether you're getting chicken or not. You get this damn mystery meat. Or it's chicken and it's sort of like processed chicken mashed up with God knows what Esau's putting in there. And then they mix it all up, mash it up, and then sort of iron it out or whatever, cut into neat sort of slices and say, oh, that's chicken. Or processed chicken or boiled chicken or steamed chicken or whatever. Right? Making it into sandwiches. You don't know. Now, if somebody finds out about it, what they're gonna do? They're gonna put water over it. They're gonna say, oh, it's just satire. It's just satire. It's just comedy. It's just to make people laugh. What's so funny about rat meat? A satire, some kind of satire magazine that publishes bullshit stories. What's so funny about people eating rat meat? There's nothing funny about that. Okay, it's the same way, right? Comedians, right? For example, if you're into certain comedians, like let's just say, what's that Irish Jake, which I think he's a Jake, Edomite. He looks like an Edomite. George Carling, yeah, George Carling, or other comedians like Eddie Griffin or whatever, right? Or even old school comedians, right? The ones that kind of sharp with their intellect. All right, they're gonna tell you truth. They might talk about who deleted Marilyn Monroe, who did JFK, who runs the government, all these kinds of things. They're gonna even give names, but then they're gonna put a comedic spin on it, and people are gonna go ha 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 ha. It's gonna go over their heads. But the people that are spiritually awake, I'll say that. Right? I'm going to say, oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. They put all the jigsaw pieces together. All right? And the scriptures don't lie. You think Yahweh Shemeshai is lying? Look at these crackers, man. They make it normal for a man to be a woman to be a man, a woman to be with a woman, a man to be with a man. It's okay to deal with animals. It's okay to deal with children. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil. Woe, bad times to you motherfuckers, man. That put darkness for light and light for darkness, but that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Okay, you're gonna pay. Okay, ultimately, this is all mainly done. I'm sure it's done in every single neighborhood, even Edomite neighborhoods, but this is heavily done in Israelite neighborhoods, the blacks and Hispanics, especially you so-called black men, especially the so-called all Israelites, black, Hispanic, and Native Indian neighborhoods. Okay, all right. They give you all the bullshit foods. They give you certain liquors and beers and drinks that aren't sold in Edomite or so-called white man neighborhoods or other neighborhoods. Okay. All right. If you watch that movie, Poetic Justice, with Tupac, do you remember when they go out on a road trip? Tupac and Janet Jackson and what's that comedian's name who was in Def Comedy Jam? Forgot his name, man. Him and the other woman from Boys in the Hood. I forgot her name as well. Right. And they went out of town. They were at the gas station. Tupac's loading up, putting juice in his vehicle. Right. And they want to get some drinks. They want to get some liquor. They want to get nice. Right. And what do? They go inside the gas station. They want to get certain beers and liquors they're used to buying in their own neighborhoods. And when they went to the white man area, right, Edomite area, those drinks weren't sold. Why? Because there's certain chemicals, certain things that are put there to stimulate you, to stimulate your mind. Okay. And Esau, Edom probably putting black magic and other vibrations on their satanic prayers that they do over these foods and drinks. You think they don't do that? They do all that shit. They probably got satanic readers. Every time some fucking chicken and rat meat is produced, or some kind of liquor is produced, or some kind of new weed is produced, hence the reason why weed is legal now. They probably got their fucking satanic priests coming and, oh yeah, we got another ton, ready. Come here, satanic priest. And the satanic priest comes out, 2 p.m. every day, or blah, 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 or whatever bullshit they read. And then they do their fucking magic, whatever they do. And then that influence goes on the food. And it's just given out there, sold out there. And people are actually, paying, people pay for this shit, assuming it's real. Okay. Why do you think people are snapping it and going through, and are snapping and are going doolally, going crazy? And then on top of that, you got a lot of people that are, can't take a shit. Okay. because the body's not even recognizing what the hell you're eating. It's not food. So the body can't process it. If it can't process it, it's because it's not real. All right? And if it can't process it, it's probably because it's not fucking food, not for human consumption. Right? You go to the go to the medical aisles. You can analyze it yourself. Go to your pharmacies in America, chemists, or what do you call drugstores in America, and go to the medical, the vitamin section. You'll see that'll be sold out because people are trying to, put back what they're not getting from food, right? They're trying to put that back into their body, taking multivitamins, cod liver oil, and all that kind of thing, right? And then, go to the laxative section as well. That'll either be sold out, the shipments aren't coming in, or people are buying them in droves. And just like a multivitamin tablet, they're probably taking using those laxatives a couple of times a week to actually get a bowel movement. I hate to get graphic with it, but it's like that out there. All right. And if you've been constipated ever in your lifetime, you know how it pisses you off. It could piss you off. And can you imagine these people in the world? It's you laugh about it because at the end of the day, Brakti Habashim Ashai, we have this knowledge, and the Lord doesn't lie, man. Okay, didn't the Lord say we're going to eat food defiled? Okay, and there's clean foods and there's unclean foods. All right. There's clean foods and unclean foods. Okay. 1 second. Just bear with me. I'm just gonna get some scriptures up. There's clean foods and unclean foods. In Leviticus, Deuteronomy is mentioned the dietary laws. What's clean? What's unclean? Okay, what kind of fish you can eat? Fish with fins and scales. Me personally, if it's some kind of new fish I never heard of, never ate before, I don't fuck with it. I just stick with what I know. But then again, you should, look into the other fish that are clean as well. But I just stick with tuna and cod. Tuna and cod. Meats, chicken, right, with a bone in it, or chicken breast, lamb, beef, venison, right? I don't mess with anything. Or eggs, chicken eggs, right? So the Lord has given us a dietary law, okay, the Israelites. And that's why these damn devils, okay, so we can keep sinning, right? So Esau can try and get his, try and get rulers, so Esau can try, that is, the word is try to get eternal rulership. But the thing is, the Lord said eternal rulership is not for Esau, Edom. Okay, 2 Ezra 6 verse 9 lets you know that. Let me get that actually. 2 Ezra. Esau's just trying to extend his rulership. But you can't do that. Okay, 2 Ezra 6 verse 9. For Esau, which is a so-called white man, is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. All right? We got our rulership coming next. All right? Okay? On Earth, planet Earth and beyond. All right? Let me get the bread defiled scripture. Ezekiel 4:13. Is this King James version? Actually, let me get the, just to be sure. Ezekiel 4:13. And the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yashai said, even thus Even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whither I will drive them. Okay? Okay? So we're eating our bread defiled. Do they not already say, these days they let you know? But some people say, oh yeah, that's his joke. That's a satire. Or there's so many, there could be mouse droppings in food, in these factories, in these people, where they wrap up chocolate bars and candy bars and shit. Be careful of eating certain chocolate bars because some of these chocolate bars are made in places where there's peanuts. Peanuts are being used. So if you're allergic to peanuts, they mentioned that. They mentioned mouse droppings, rat droppings. Okay, defiled foods, defiled bread. Wasn't there that video floating around which people assumed is satire, which is actually correct? Was this Amalekite, Edomite, talking about that they grip up children, delete them, and mix their flesh and blood up with the meats and the sausages of major franchise starting with M and a C. I'll just say fuck it, McDonald's. Yeah, that's real. Okay, there's not that many cows in the world where they can sell all those billions of burgers, man, every week. All right, and a lot of people are not even eating that shit no more. That's why their meat and their fries don't ever deteriorate. They still stay the same because it's not real food. Okay? And if you look at the news segment, how many Edomites did you see presenting that story? Right? So that was aimed at Jake. But Jake is still, even if they, Romans 10 verse 2, okay? They have like a belief. Let me get that scripture up because I don't want to. Romans 10 verse 2. Because even Jake and the Hood, that might not be privy to the truth as yet. Okay, they have some kind of spiritual connection to the Most High for the most part. They say on God and they believe in God and they try and do right and blah blah blah, and they're gonna say, yeah, I'm not gonna eat from the Chinese store no more. Some of them will take heed, and some of them will be wary. Okay. Okay, but some of the people will just believe the news media and eat and drink, anything and everything they want to do. I mean, shit, people do it, willingly just to get views on social media, eating rats and shit. Okay, Romans 10 verse 2. For I bear them record that they have a zeal of the Most High, but not according to knowledge. All right, but the elect are awake. So the elect are a little bit more savvy or have more transparency of what this world is about in the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yashai. So we walk with caution. We walk with circumspection. We're being circumspect because the days are evil. All right? We don't even know what even real water tastes like. We just got what we got in this world, right? I always think about that. What's real water going to taste like in the kingdom? Straight up. What's real fresh air going to smell like? This is a simulation. This is hell, man. This is punishment for real. Okay? Okay? Everything Esau does for you Israelites with a smile on his face is for your detriment. The medication, the hair weaves for Eve with cancer and demons on it from Elam and other nations. Right? The foods with pork juice, crab juice, or whatever in it. Other chemicals to destroy your mind. The fillings for the teeth with all those metal, different types of metals that should not be in your mouth. Right? All is it the fluoride? The other chemicals that they have in toothpaste as well. Right? All the foods with all the unclean things that are in there. Why? So they can further separate you from Yahweh B'Hashem Yashai. Okay? But the Lord said you can't pluck out the elect from his hand. The elect are good. But it's the rest of you that are going to fall prey to, that are going to be, are going to get got by Esau, Edom, and the heathens. The elect are good. Okay, because the Lord said He's going to provide food. His elect are going to eat, but the rest of you are going to suffer, man. And plus, on the flip side, a lot of you are getting used to this kind of food, if you call it food, or eating in a beastly manner. So when all hell breaks loose, you're going to actually go towards that cannibalism. Okay? This is what these damn devils do to you. And you want to love them, man. And you want to stay in America. You want to stay in the UK. It's the same shit over here. Okay? Same shit over here. That's why people very rarely eat out. And if they have to eat outside, it's only in dire straits. Okay? Where whatever a situation could be, you're out in the middle of nowhere. You're probably going to some kind of location or whatever, and you've got another 2 hours before you get to your destination, and you've got to stop and eat. You've got family with you, children or whatever. You might stop at some kind of restaurant that's not a major franchise. You might buy something that's recognizable. I would say just cheese and salad sandwich, man, is keep that simple, something like that. I don't know, right? That's the only time. I do not eat this shit outside, man. Cook at home, best way. The best way. Even the food you buy, man, you got to make sure you recognize it. Be very careful. All right? The elect are circumspect. Okay, the Lord doesn't lie. You think the Lord's going to say something in the scriptures and it's not going to happen? Are we not eating filth? Okay? Aren't people making jokes about it? Talking about, all this orange chicken from these Chinese stores. It's flesh. You can't even recognize it. But people assume it's chicken. And Jake comes in these stores, these Chinese places and these other heathenistic nations, restaurants, high and drunk at night, 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. Oh, give me some of this, give me some of that. And you're so high and zooted, it tastes good to you with all the chemicals and coloring they put on there. That's because you're fools, but the elect are good money. Ephesians 5:15. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise. Okay, that's 15. Let's go to verse 16. Redeeming the time because the days are evil. All right. Verse 17, wherefore be ye not unwise, but understanding that the will of the Lord is. Verse 18, and be not drunk with wine, wherein is excess, but be filled with the Spirit. Okay? Be circumspect, bruv. All right? Watch your bread and meat, what you put in your body. All right? But I'm going to leave it there now, man. These pieces of shit, this is what they're trying to do, man. Okay? Oh, yeah. Let me go to... what's it? And this is another scripture. This is like a 888. Okay, this is another beautiful solidification of Yahweh Shemashai's word, man. What the Lord said is going to happen has happened. Okay, these heathens have made a tumult, right? They are unified in cutting off Israel from being a nation. We have laws, statutes, and commandments, moral, civil, dietary, etc., etc., etc. And these damn devils do everything to break it. Okay, baby mamas, women having multiple men, which is, against the scriptures. A man can have multiple wives, but the women have to be single, which is fine. But Jake, what are they pushing this music? Me and Mrs. Jones and the R. Kelly fucking, what's that song with R. Kelly, man? R. Kelly's always pushing adultery. All R&B music is adultery, man. It sounds good because Jake has got the soul. Jake has got the flavor and the soul. But listen to the words. Even Tupac said it. Don't just hear the beat, peep the words. I think something like that. He said like that. Okay? From the music, to the food, to the air, to the hair products, to the clothes, to the foods that are sold in your hoods or neighborhoods or barrios, or is it barrios or barrios, to the reservations, is all there to cut you off from being a nation. Okay? These damn devils are in every intricate part of Jake's world to destroy you. Esau, Edom, the heathens, they can eat and drink what they want. They get big and strong and healthy. They, everything's hunky-dory for them because they are not under the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashim Yashai, because they're not Israelites. Okay? Psalm 83. Keep not thou silence, O Most High Power, Yahweh Bashim Yashai. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Most High Power, Yahweh Bashim Yashai. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. Let me just get the definition of tumult. I'm just going to go to my phone. Definition of the word tumult in Psalm 83, King James Version. Now, tumult is a violent, noisy uproar, chaos, or violently agitated commotion. Okay? For lo, thine enemies make a tumult. Okay? And they that hate thee have lifted up the head. Verse 3, they have taken crafty counsel. Okay? All right? What's that? Council of Foreign Relations, and what's the other one as well? World Health Organization, etc., etc., etc. They all come together to what? Talk about you Israelites. Even during that C19 thing, when apparently this was coming from the gooks, this disease, but which really Esau, Edom, the so-called white man created, but they were blaming Moab for it, eating bats and rats and shit. Okay? What did that Amalekite Edomite woman say? She said, the problem are you blacks and Hispanics. They were trying to come for you first to vaccinate you. Why? Why were they trying to do that? They're trying to cut you off from being a nation, trying to kill your pineal gland so you don't connect to Yahweh Bashim Yashai. Okay? But you can't get the elect. The elect are good money. You can't pluck the elect out of the Lord's hand. The Lord said that himself. Okay? Verse 3, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. Verse 4, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in... They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Okay, verse 5, for they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. All right, they've all come together. All right. The way they see it is, you Israelites are the common enemy for them. Why? Because when we get rulership under the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yashai, right? When Jake gets our rulership on planet Earth under the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yashai, Yahweh Bashim Yashai leading the way, of course. Yahweh Shai, our king, under the spirit and power of Yahweh, right? Because they know that we're going to get rulership next. So what? And they're going to be slaves. All the heathens, so-called white man first, and all the heathens are going to be slaves. Only Esau, Edom is going to be deleted after 1,000 years of slavery. That's Obadiah 1:18. But the rest of them are going to be slaves forever. Or after 1,000 years, they're going to be allotted their land, but they're going to have to pay tribute to us. They're going to be underneath our feet forever, and they don't want that. So that's why they're confederate. They're against. They're unified. Okay? They have a common enemy, which is who? The elect, the Israelites. Okay? For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. Verse 6, and the Lord names them. Okay? The tabernacles of Edom, so-called white man, and the Ishmaelites, Arabs, of Moab, the Chinese, the Hagarenes, I believe are Hamites. I'm not going to guess some of the words I don't know the definition of, but I want to check it out, Lord willing. Okay? And the Hagarenes. All right, Gebal and Ammon. We know that Ammon is the Japanese today. Amalek, we know that. The JOOs, the small hats. Philistines, Hamites. Okay, with inhabitants of Tyre, more Hamites. Assur also is joined with them. They have holpen the children of Lot, Selah. Okay? So basically all the heathenistic nations, if you're not an Israelite, okay, they're against, basically, if they're non-Israelites, they're against Israelites. All non-Israelites are against Israelites. Okay? Because the Lord is a man of war, Exodus 15:3. There's always going to be drama. And these motherfuckers are against us. And this is just another prime example of how they're trying to cut you off from being a nation. I'm going to leave it there now. All right? I've got to go and earn this daily bread. All praise to Yahweh, B'Hashem Yashai, B'Hashem Rakakadash, Moatha Bad Babal, Kwam Yasharala. And you Jakes out there, man, sincere ones, subscribe to the men of the Lord, the men of Great Millstone. Okay? From the apostles on down that rule well, and the other brothers out there, our prophets, and shalom to them. And shalom to yous. Shalom.